This is Charlotte. So this was, hold on. This is what this looked like before. This is after. This is basically what I did to it. So first I identified what part of Allie's face was in shadow. Went over here. This is the mask area. I made a mask with a brush around here and around her eyes. And then I lowered the contrast, and then upped the exposure a little bit. And then I also decreased the clarity because that's kind of like another contrast, but it basically just smooths out your skin a little bit. And then I lowered the whites. This is what I do on most of my pictures. That's with the whites usual, and then lower it down. It's kind of like another highlights, but the highlight makes things look worse. So that's why I only go down a little bit on the highlights. And then I raise the shadows up. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. Just depending on the photo and like what is in shadow, because sometimes it just gives an effect that I don't like. And then curve is like a big area that I always do. Basically, it just lets you choose which part of the shadow and highlight you want to be brighter or darker. So basically, you can like change any of this. But then you can also, in color mixer, you can like adjust different things. So I turned down luminance a little bit so that her skin wasn't as bright. And then you can also, I do this a lot on my posts. Since we're red for Nebraska, I usually go down a little bit in this, but since it didn't look too bad on her shirt, I didn't do that. The only thing about that is it can affect your skin a little bit. And then this is what I do to get my like look for my style of photography. I usually go down a little bit in hue. It affects more than just the blues. It affects like the greens and everything. So this part is like pretty sensitive over here. And then I go up in hue for red a little bit, which just kind of pulls. That's why I go in the other one and pull the red, more red, because this kind of messes with it. But that makes your skin tone look a little more orange. So I usually shoot a little bit pink, and then that way the orange is affected by the reds more because your skin isn't yellow, it's more orange. Anyways, that's pretty much what I do. You can also, like, I played with the vignette a little bit just since this was an iPhone picture. You can also play with grain if you want, all that. Yeah. This is Adobe Photoshop, by the way. You can also do this in Lightroom. They have apps too, but it just depends on whether or not you have like what kind of Adobe subscription you have. Most schools have an Adobe subscription that they pay for that you can use. So just I'd ask your school if they have that option, or just try and sign into Adobe with your school email and see if it works. Anyways, there you go.